Hey, welcome back into IN Agriculture. I'm Britton Rucker. This growing season has resulted in more than usual discussion regarding weed management and wheat post-harvest. We're joined now with Sarah Lancaster, Weed Science Extension Specialist with Kansas State University, to help break this down. Now, Sarah, when thinking about weed control and wheat stubble, what do we need to consider?
There are a couple of things about managing weeds and wheat stubble that are kind of unique. One is that we're managing weeds that have been basically cut off by a combine, and so they don't have a lot of leaf area to take in herbicides. The other factor here is that it's the beginning of July. It's hot. Weeds are not necessarily growing as rapidly, taking in herbicide as well as they would under other conditions.
Yeah, so we know there's a growing number of herbicide-resistant weeds as well. What do we do when we reach that roadblock?
Yeah, so as I think about the two weed species that are probably the most common and troublesome in wheat stubble, Palmer amaranth and kochia, we almost need to expect some level of herbicide resistance in those populations. And so the rules of thumb there are to apply multiple herbicide modes of action in each application, and then do everything we can to get maximum weed control and suppress weed seed production.
So you've talked about those plants being leafy, not being leafy right now. Do we need to hold off if we're looking to treat our fields right now?
Yeah, so one of the things to think about is that plants do have to have enough leaf area to take in herbicides. And so often what we'll want to do is we'll want to wait a few days, maybe a week, until after those weeds have developed some new growth and they're actively growing again, to take in herbicides and move them to where they can be most effective.
Sarah, do we need to be treating our fields about every year to stay on top of weed control, or what do we need to do on that end?
So especially as we think about herbicide resistance and our most troublesome weeds, yes, we cannot slack off on weed management, whether that be chemical weed control options or cultural weed control options. Staying on top of that, and as I alluded to earlier, just preventing weed seed production is critical for maintaining as profitable a farming operation as possible.
Sarah, any final thoughts that producers need to keep in mind right now?
I think I just want to encourage folks to hang in there, because this particular situation is a challenge for pretty much everyone. And just remember that it's probably going to take multiple herbicide applications. One of the things that we've been talking a little bit about this year that's different from in years past is this idea of a planned 2-pass herbicide here, where we come in with a systemic herbicide followed by a contact herbicide about a week later. So that's something that folks can, if they haven't tried in the past, can maybe try if they're struggling.
Well, Sarah, thanks so much for coming on the program. Everyone stick around. IN Ag will be back after the break.
We believe